Welcome to the channel, viewers. I don't know about you, but this idea that men are women and men want to be women and all this sort of stuff sort of turned around on the women's lib movement and brought on them something that they can't undo now, and that is that men, these weird and wonderful, canny men, want to be like women. They're in women's sports, bashing up the women. They're in women's change rooms, raping the women. They're in women's prisons, molesting and raping the women. And I don't think women's libbers, the craziness of it all, expected this to happen in their ferocity and determination to become like men and to be equal to men. Nobody would have dreamed in a million years that men would want to become like women.
Roxy Tickle was born a man, but now identifies as a woman. But when Roxy joined the female-only app, Giggle for Girls, she got barred. It raised the question, what's it mean to be female? That was answered by the federal court today.
Roxy Tickle, how are you? How are you feeling today?
A little focused. A little focused. Now you can tell that that person is not a woman. And it just goes to show that the courts have lost their way as far as sanity is concerned, because there is an element of insanity to this Frankensteiniemism, where these men now, these very strange men, want to be women. They want to invade women's spaces.
Tickle versus Giggle. Sal Grover, good morning. How are you feeling ahead of today's decision?
Good.
Today's ruling in the landmark case between transgender woman Roxy Tickle and Giggle for Girls app owner Sal Grover.
I just want to do a comparison here. If that is a woman, it's a very one you would try and avoid, let me say that, but these people are doing a lot of damage in the communities because they're bullying their way into females' private spaces where men don't belong, and they're costing people like this woman who's trying to say, look, this is not a place for men that want to be women, it's a place for women. They're costing these people a lot of money, you'll see shortly.
Grover means we now live in a different Australia, according to Sex Discrimination Commissioner Anna Cody.
So what the judge found is that there's 30 years of legal precedent, legal cases which have found that woman includes trans women.
And women.
Now, just because the judge has found that there's 30 years of legal cases that have made transgender people inclusive, viewers, I just want to say right now, that doesn't make it right. That does not make it right. It's not constitutional. It's not under the Christian constitution. The judge has just decided that we're going to warp and we're going to bend normality and we're going to allow a little bit more insanity. And this is turning, look, as I said, they're raping the women in prisons, they're raping women in public, private places, they're molesting women in the workplace. There's cases of these transgender men raping women right across the world in all different environments. As we saw in the Olympics, the advantage they had against women in sport. It's not a good situation.
Forum Australia CEO Rachel Wong.
In practical terms, any man who feels like a woman, says he's a woman, identifies as a woman, can access female-only spaces like bathrooms, changing rooms.
Till now, the argument,
That's correct. And in these bathrooms, change rooms, locker rooms, sports rooms, these men are getting access to the privacy, things that men aren't supposed to see, and the boyfriends and husbands of these women don't want these men to see, which is the privacy, privacy of women. Now, if you put these people in a Middle East, I have to hand it to the Muslims. The Muslims and the Islamists, they won't tolerate this. They'll just do away with you. But our country, in all its different developments towards dysfunction, pathological dysfunction at that, just lets these people go. And as I said, just because the judge thinks it's okay, doesn't mean it is.
Is a woman has been stuck in a social grey area, but today a federal court judge put it in black and white. His Honour found Tickle had been indirectly discriminated against when Tickle was kicked off Grover's Women's Only Help app.
I brought my case to show trans people that you can be brave and that you can stand up for yourself.
The app's AI gender recognition.
As a man, you can stand up for yourself against women that don't want you in their private places.
And software designed to sift through members' uploaded selfie pics and screen out men allowed Tickle in, but Grover kicked her out. The transgender woman claimed she was legally entitled to use services meant for women, so she was discriminated against based on her gender identity.
But a small group of people have taken it upon themselves to declare that I am not who I know I am, and they've set about making my life miserable.
It's the first time alleged gender identity discrimination has been heard by our federal court, and the world was watching. Famous author J.K. Rowling and tennis great Martina Navratilova backing Grover in the 2.5-year acrimonious ideological debate, trans inclusion versus sex-based rights.
I know that I can now get on with the rest of my life, have coffee down the road with my friends, play hockey with my hockey team.
How would you like to be a woman? And this old person comes lumbering into the change room, and you know very well he is not a woman.
And now put all of this horribleness behind me. Thank you.
Roxy, what was your feeling?
She's not going to be taking any more comments.
While Roxy Tickle didn't take questions, Sal Grover did in this exclusive sit-down with her current affair. Sal Grover, you've just been found guilty of indirect discrimination against a woman. How do you feel?
I will say, in my view, I've not been found guilty of indirect discrimination against a woman because the whole crux of the case was that I don't acknowledge that this male person, adult human male, is a woman.
And this is the point, viewers. This woman's holding it ground. She's saying this person is not a woman. He's Frankensteiniemism himself to be a woman. And this woman is not going to have it. She's a leader. She's saying, no, this is not for real. This is not something that I want intruded upon in my business.
Law changes made a decade ago made this decision possible today. So are you saying there is something wrong with the current law?
Without a doubt. Like, if any man claiming to be a woman was actually a woman, their rights would have actually existed under the Sex Discrimination Act how it was before the amendments. It had to be amended so that men could be included as women into it.
Why did the app kick Roxy Tickle out in the first place?
I, at some point, would have seen a picture of a male and gone, that's a male. That's all.
And here we are today.
And here we are today.
Tickle sued for direct and indirect discrimination, seeking
That person, viewers, is not a woman. And I don't know who these flying monkeys are that are encouraging it, but they're all very pleased with themselves. This will all come back as the generations go on to bite all of us.
seeking $200,000 in damages. The judge only favoured indirect discrimination and ordered Grover to pay Tickle $10,000 plus costs. What's this cost you?
By the end, we will have spent potentially around $1.2 million establishing that men are not women. And it just feels like decades/a century of women's rights just goes out the window. You go, okay, we've got the right to vote, fantastic. Who on earth would I vote for right now if they're not even going to say what a woman is?
Roxy Tickle says she's the victim in all of this.
I mean, he is entitled to whatever opinion he wants to have, and I think in a civilized society I am entitled to disagree with him. And sometimes I go, it's just an app. Like, there are lots of apps out there that I would not be welcome on. Like, I'm not a gay man, for example, so gay male dating apps are not for me. That's fine.
And I'll pull you up there because you keep referencing to Roxy Tickle as he, yet a judge has found today that Roxy Tickle is a woman.
Yeah, I mean, law is supposed to reflect reality, and in reality, this person is a male. So, I mean, you can make a court believe something, I suppose, but you're not going to make me believe it. So to be punished for acknowledging biological sex, I think puts all Australians at risk of being punished for having human instincts.
And she's exactly right. This depravity and this twistedness, crazy, this insanity, and you can see the views on this are going up. There was only a couple of hundred views and 2 likes when I got to this. It's going through the roof. The insanity now has crept into the law system. There's no protection for Australia against these Frankensteiniemism people. Or you can say alphabet people, whatever you want to call them. But this woman, you got to take your hat off to her. It's cost her $1.2 million to stand up and say, I do not believe that this person is a woman.
The judge has given you an option to walk away from this, for 10 grand plus a cap on certain costs. Will you walk away?
It's always been my intention to appeal to the highest place that I can, which in Australia would be the High Court. Always, since day one. I've said I will go as far as I need to. I have a daughter. She's 2. I cannot send her out into the world where she has no rights. There is a next generation of little girls that we have to protect and make sure we hand them a world that the women before us gave us.
Sally Grover, thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Well, there you go. It's a debate many have strong opinions on. And Roxy, the offer still stands for you to have your say on our show.
Now, people don't understand how dangerous all this is. This is a letter on how dangerous this is. And what you'll find is the transgender communities will lie. They'll blatantly lie. And this is an argument that this person has proposed to the person that's made the statement below. It's by Sue Robbins. Dear Amanda Gilbert, the statement made in the following article by Sue Robbins of Equality Utah is false and must be retracted. And this is the statement. There is no documented evidence of a transgender person in the United States ever causing an issue in the bathroom. That's a lie. We have real issues we need to address. The transgender community is not one of them. Yes, it is. Let's focus on improving things for all our youth, said Sue Robbins with Equality Utah's Transgender Advisory Council. That woman's obviously deluded. Now, viewers, this is Sue Robbins of the Transgender Council. I don't know. Is that a woman? I'm sorry, but let's have a look if we can see this person speaking. No, just wait a minute. So viewers, this person is obviously a liar. Sue Robbins is a woman who is transgender, intersex and pansexual and uses the pronouns she, her and hers. She is currently serving on the Equality Utah Transgender Advisory Council, working on bills, policy and other statewide transgender and intersex efforts. She is a past board chair of the Utah Pride Center. Okay, so this is a man. We don't want to really go any further into that. We know it's a man. We will now go back to our article. This man is a liar and will do whatever they have to do to justify transgenderism in our communities. Now, in Virginia, the school boards tried to hide a rape of a female student by a biological male transgender female student, and since then the male student has been convicted of raping a young female student. VA judge finds transgender teen guilty of sexual assault in Loudoun County High School girls' bathroom. This is what everyone's worried about. Last fall, a transgender student in Oklahoma beat up his female peer in a woman's bathroom. Okay, physical assault Oklahoma transgender student charged with assaulting female high school classroom mates in bathroom. What's the male doing in a female bathroom? This past April, another male claiming to be a female transgender student in California assaulted 2 of his female peers and was charged with assault. You can see this video in this article of his assault on her, which we might have a look at. Now viewers, I just had a look at the footage. You'll have to do that yourself because YouTube will pull this video down if I show that. Big guy, girl standing up to him saying don't go into the locker room, reckons he's a woman. Another girl, he's pushing her around, another girl come in to help and he pushed her down to the ground. I mean, where are the men out there that can stop these guys from physically abusing and sexually abusing these women? This past April, another male claiming to be a female transgender student in California assaulted 2 of his female peers and was charged with assault. You can see this video, which is the one I just watched. I recommend that you look that up. Transgender Wyoming woman convicted of sexually assaulting 10-year-old girl in bathroom. These pedophiles are now parading themselves to be women. They're getting access to young females and they're sexually assaulting them. Another transgender student flashed 4 freshman girls in their locker room after a swim class in Wisconsin, obviously showing male genitalia. Watch, teenage girl was terrified in locker room with naked transgender woman who obviously had male genitalia. A 17-year-old girl joined Tucker Carlson on Tuesday night to discuss an incident in which she found herself naked in a YMCA woman's locker room alongside a biological man who identifies as a transgender woman, and the RMCA's relative interaction following the event. They did nothing. Transgender women, biological males, crimes. Here's a threat of violence to rape women from a transgender woman, a biological male. Transgender suspect threatens to rape Christian girls, inject HIV in people wearing crosses, and copycat Nashville shootings. Jason Lee Willie, a biological male who identifies as Alexa and Willie, was charged on November 7 with 14 felony counts of interstate communication of a threat to injure. Willie, a 47-year-old from Nashville, Illinois, allegedly made the macabre threats in an online videos and during streaming video calls. As if this ain't enough. Male inmate convicted of raping female at Rikers Island Women's Facility, and male inmate identifying as a woman has been convicted of raping a female prisoner while housed at the women's facility at the Rikers Island complex in New York. A male inmate identifying as a woman has been convicted, and Ramal Blount, who goes by the name Diamond Blount, oh my God, received a sentence of 7 years plus 8 years of post-release supervision after pleading guilty to attempt rape on the 7th of April in a plea deal, the New York Post reported. Blount must now register as a sex offender. And there's no shortage. Look, bathrooms are often places of sexual assault on women and children. A list of videos. The last one is in Los Angeles. A 29-year-old trans woman beats 13-year-old girl to first place in the NYC's women's skateboard contest. That's right, because the women can't compete against men. 50-year-old trans swimmer shared locker room while competing against teens. The girls were terrified. The 50-year-old transgender swimmer was allowed to compete against teenage girls at an event in Canada, and with horrified parents building a makeshift tent out of towels to shield the girls as young as 8 in the locker rooms. This is how insane, how wicked, how evil, how sinful this has become. And the Bible warns against this, that this is not a healthy way to live, yet people seem to justify it. And it's out of control. It's going to get worse. It's really going to get bad. And just in making this video, there's now 1,600 views of this Giggle for Girls owner to appeal loss in landmark gender discrimination case. She'll go to the Supreme Court, this woman, to beat this transgender person. Frankensteiniemism is not working. It won't work. They've got a way of bullying their way into our societies and through our societies, but I'm going to challenge you to be very careful how you acknowledge this gender alphabet people's agenda, because it's not working. It will not work. It might work independently for these people that want to demand that they're women when they're men and men when they're all that nonsense and disorder. But I would ask you to try and stand up and be honest and fair about it, and have boundaries where these people can't intrude into your life if they don't want you to, if you don't want them to, because they will, and they'll have no conscience about it, and they'll incriminate you for standing up against it.